So, we're back. We're finally going to New Orleans today.
New Orleans.
Do you say New Orleans or New Orleans?
It depends on who I'm talking to, I guess. If it's you, I'm going to start saying New Orleans.
But yeah, so we're back. We had to take a couple of weeks off because I had some health issues.
Back to back.
Apparently, back to back. Apparently, I got bitten by a tick or a spider. They're not really sure. It happened twice in like the period of 3 weeks.
On top of like dental surgery.
I had a root canal. And the bites from the spider or tick or whatever the hell bit me got infected. And so I'm on my 3rd round of antibiotics, and it's only March. So, yeah, it's knocked me on my ass.
Keep her in your thoughts.
Yeah, I think I'm over the worst of it.
If anyone knows a spell to banish spiders, let us know. Like,
yes, just get rid of them all.
Wingardium Leviosa to spiders.
Yes, if only it were that easy. Let's Harry Potter that shit. So yeah, Andrea is drinking. What are you drinking?
I threw it in the trash so I can get it out. It's an espresso martini in a little can. And it fits about a mug.
In your nice Garfield mug.
Yo, this is vintage. It's from McDonald's. It says 1978, but I don't think that's when this was made. But who knows?
Maybe it's when the cartoon was made. But yeah, so since I am on antibiotics still for another freaking week, I am drinking water.
It's okay. We all need to hydrate.
I'm just gonna pour it.
I'm here, moral support.
Yeah,
I got a bottle too. Turn up.
Thank you. I'm just pouring it in this glass so I feel like I'm drinking.
Oh, I love that noise.
It is flavored water, so that's something.
I only like cucumber or lemon water. I can't really get down with flavor.
This one, it's mixed berry, and it's from Kroger, and they have these like cute little bottles. They have like strawberry.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
Mixed berry. That's the only two I like. They're really good actually, and they're cheap. It's only like $2.99 for like, I don't know, 12 or something.
$2.99 in this day and age. I heard that McChickens are $4.89.
What?
That's what I heard.
I haven't bought one in a long time.
Me either. But when I did, they were $1. They were a fucking $1.
Well, I mean, I feel like the dollar menu is non-existent now.
Also, for some reason, on Facebook and Instagram, I keep getting posts of Taco Bell menus from like early 2000s, late 90s. And I'm like, the prices kill me.
Oh, I know. Everything used to be so cheap.
The decor kills me. Everything used to be so cute and awesome, and I feel like the world's going to shit, man.
Yeah. You remember McDonald's when we were kids, and it was like, they had the plate.
Yeah, with the ball pin, the
like,
slides.
All bright and happy. Yeah. And now it's like gray and depressing. It's like, did McDonald's turn into an adult?
I saw a Karen get the shit kicked out of her at a McDonald's.
In person?
There's a lot of crazy shit. You know, I got hired at McDonald's, and I was, no, that was Instagram. But I got hired at McDonald's, and I cried myself to sleep when I got hired because I didn't want to work there, but I needed a job. And then I went to orientation because they were going to pay you to go to orientation. And I was like, fuck it. I'll go to orientation and I'll make a little bit of money. And then I was like, I quit. And they were so rude to me because I didn't even start.
Why did you even tell them that you quit? Why did you just not show up? Oh.
Because I wanted my check for the orientation. I wanted the money.
They had to mail it to you.
But you know where I went instead of McDonald's?
Oh, Goodwill.
I went to Goodwill. Like that's any fucking better. I'm sorry, this espresso hitting.
Well.
Trigger warning, I might be jacked up on coffee this episode.
Well, let's get into it, because this episode is interesting.
Alright, let's go.
The Axeman of New Orleans destroyed the city in the early... I said destroyed, it says terrorized. What the fuck did I read?
I know what the
Just
fuck
making
you
up words.
talking about.
Well, not making them up, just putting them in there that they're not there. I don't even know what I'm saying. I am fucked up. I'm not even drinking.
Are you drunk?
I wish.
Is that vodka, Nina?
Yeah, I'm just.
I think
pretending
you
it's
drinking
water.
vodka.
No, it's really water. The Axeman of New Orleans terrorized the city in the early 1900s. He seemingly targeted Italian immigrants and always left a bloody scene.
This week, we are exploring the theories, suspects, and enduring legacy of the Axeman of New Orleans, from his chilling crimes to his infamous letter.
Infamous, not infamous.
Oh, fuck. You didn't correct me the first
I
time.
didn't hear you. The internet was cutting out.
We can't even podcast. All right.
I'm Nina.
And I'm Andrea. And this is Cults, Crimes, and Spirits.
So, this week, we are in New Orleans, the Creole city, or the Big Easy. I cannot do a Creole accent, but, it's fun to try.
Y'all ever watch that show?
Be more specific, maybe?
But that show, where they're, like, in New Orleans or somewhere in Louisiana, and they're, like, they talk all Cajun, and you can barely understand them, and they're, like, crawdads and shit.
Is it where they're trying to catch the gators and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called.
And they're like,
I know.
I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying it's hard.
No, I love it. I love to hear them talk.
It's almost like country, but not country.
Yeah.
It's like a twang.
They sound like sophisticated
There's a twang
country,
to it.
if that makes sense.
You know what's New Orleans? I had gator bites for the first time. Have you ever had gator?
I have, and it's delicious. Tastes like chicken.
Okay. It does. And I psyched myself out, though, because I knew it was gator. So halfway through it, I was like, oh, I mean, an alligator. But I was like, but it's fucking good.
I would definitely eat it again. I've only had it one time, but I would eat it again. Well, anyways, we are in New Orleans today. And in 1918, New Orleans was the place where a lot of Italian immigrants ended up. They loved the city, and they stayed there. And quickly started saving up money and opening up all these like small grocery stores all over the city.
Nice. I would have went to one of those.
You would have bought all
I would have bought all the salami.
You would have been in line every morning and give me some of that fresh salami.
Can I get the salami and the olives?
You sound like Mario.
It's the Mario, the salami, the gabagola. I'm sorry. It's the espresso. Anyways, yeah. Let's go on to this couple.
Anyways, Italian grocers were popping up all over the city. And, like, it's a good thing that they're, like, saving up money and opening up these stores. Like, it's great. They're living the American dream. They're coming here. They're starting their businesses. They're making money. And then this motherfucker...
spreading their culture.
Yeah. Then this motherfucker comes in and starts attacking them.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Right. Well, one couple named Joseph and Catherine Maggio owned the Maggio grocery store, and they lived in an apartment above the store. On May 20th...
As I think most people did.
Like, pretty much all of these people live at their grocery store. It's like, they live there and work there. And on May 23rd, 1918, Catherine and Joseph became the first suspected victims of the Axeman. And I'm going to warn you, it's not going to go into a ton of graphic detail, but it is graphic, especially this first set of attacks, I feel like is the most graphic, so you've been warned. The Axeman reportedly slit their throats and smashed their heads with an axe, and when police arrived, they found a bloody scene, and they also found bloody clothes from the suspected murderer. Assuming from this that he changed his clothes before fleeing the scene.
So he's butt-ass naked?
No, he probably stole some of their clothes.
Oh, after he killed him, yeah.
Yeah, or he's butt-ass naked. I don't know. Because they did say
He
nothing was
might be
stolen.
crazy like that. He just killed him for no fucking reason.
Yeah. Police also found that the bottom panel of the door to the apartment was missing, which was a common factor in some of the other attacks that we're going to get to as well. And although the house had been ransacked, the police ruled out robbery as a motive because the killer did not take valuable items that were left out in plain sight. He may have stole some clothes.
Okay, so he probably did take clothes.
Probably, but I don't know. Maybe he didn't, but I think people would have seen a naked guy running around and reported it.
Yeah.
He did, however, leave a bloody axe in the couple's bathtub that actually belonged to the Maggios. So he stole their axe and killed them with their own axe. Yeah. And that's another common factor. He didn't bring his own murder weapon.
Everybody just like own axes?
I guess.
And had them like easily available to be found?
Apparently.
Or is that why he ransacked the apartment to find the axe?
No, I don't think so. I think he probably ransacked the apartment afterwards. Because he probably would have woke them up and he killed them while they were sleeping. Yeah. So, yeah, apparently everybody had their own axe back then. And he just was like, they'll have one. You know, like, I'm not going to bother bringing my own murder weapon. So the next morning, a straight razor covered in blood was also located.
Like to shave with?
Yeah, like a straight razor that you shave with. It was found, like, covered with dry blood in the front yard by, like, a neighbor. And so this guy's leaving the murder weapons behind. And back then, they did have fingerprinting. Like, fingerprinting was a thing.
They did?
Yes, but it was not widely used at the time. So it was useless in this case because they didn't even use it.
Wow.
The Maggio's bodies were discovered by his brothers, Andrew and Jake. Andrew had heard moaning coming from Joseph's room and ran to get Jake before the pair entered the couple's room and found the bloody bodies. Andrew was taken in by police as a suspect, causing him to miss his brother's funeral, but he was finally released. Fuck that. Yeah, as they did not have any evidence. I know, it's like...
I'd be so pissed.
Yeah, like he didn't do it, but at the time, they didn't have any other murders to compare it to, like, with the same MO, so they just thought it was like, you know, this is a first occurrence, so there was no pattern yet, so I guess they just assumed whoever found the bodies was, like, responsible.
Yeah. You smelt it, you dealt it.
Then, just over a month later, on June 28th, 1918, another attack occurred. The victims were Louis Bessemer and his mistress, Anna Lowe.
Ooh.
This time, the attack was on a Polish grocery store owner. And there was pretty much the same MO as the attack on the Maggios. The bottom panel of the door was cut out. A bloody axe was left at the scene that belonged to Louis. I keep wanting to say Lois. Louis. The couple was discovered by a local baker named John Zanka as he was making his morning deliveries to the grocery store. They were both still alive, and they were rushed to a local hospital.
Oh, shit.
So, with this case, the newspapers seemed to focus more on the fact that Anna was Louis's mistress. They were so hung up on this more than anything else. And from what I could find, Louis was like in his 50s and Anna was only in her 20s. So that made it even more scandalous. Louis went on to make a full recovery, and Anna initially survived the attack, but she was much more gravely injured than Louis. She would go in and out of consciousness in her fragile state, and she told a lot of stories. She told police that a mulatto man attacked them.
A mulatto?
Do you not know what mulatto is?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. I'm mulatto.
Oh, okay.
A black and white person.
That's weird. I just think of gelato, like ice cream.
Yeah, well, she wasn't attacked by an ice cream man. And then she told them that a large white man with a hatchet attacked them. And finally, she said Louis was a German spy. She just was full of stories. So eventually, the police ended up arresting a 41-year-old light-skinned African-American man, a mulatto. His name was also Louis, and
that's weird.
Yeah, but it's spelled different. He was an employee at the grocery store, and he was later released when police realized that there was no evidence against him. And then a few weeks after the attack, Anna eventually returned to the place that she shared with Lewis, even though she called him a German spy and all this stuff. He let her come back. And she had to go back to the hospital a couple weeks later to have some kind of surgery on her face to repair it because it was partially paralyzed. And something must have went wrong with that surgery. And 2 days after the surgery, on August 5th, 1918, Anna sadly died.
Damn.
But before she died, she allegedly told police that Lewis was in fact the man who attacked her. Police then arrested Lewis for Anna's murder, even though he was also severely injured in the attack. And I mean, that's one thing to shoot yourself with like a flesh wound with a bullet, but like to bust your head in with an axe, like I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If he would have done that, yeah. Supposedly, after they arrested him, police found a trunk full of letters written in German, Russian, and Yiddish at his home. Police started...
That's weird.
Yeah, so weird discovery, and it led police to start to think that Lewis was in fact a German spy, and the grocery store was just a front. Lewis ended up serving about 9 months in prison before he was eventually acquitted on May 1st, 1919, after only a 10-minute jury deliberation, because they were probably like, yeah, this guy didn't injure her and then injure himself that bad.
Yeah, that doesn't
But
make
he could have
sense.
hired someone to do it.
He could have.
I don't know. But the fact that there was an axe at the scene in the door panel.
Yeah, a little suspect.
Yeah.
Kind of matches all the other ones. Mm-hmm. That's like his signature.
The next attack occurs on August 5th, 1918. Coincidentally, the same day Anna died. Miss Ed Schneider was attacked in her home while she was sleeping. Her husband was working late, and when he got home that night, he found her lying on the floor in a pool of blood, and she was still alive, so she was rushed to the hospital and actually would survive the attacks. She was also very pregnant, and just a week after the attack, she gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and their axe was missing from their shed.
Okay, what the fuck?
Yeah, she's a badass though,
so
man.
He goes to kill a pregnant girl.
Mm-hmm.
She survives.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know how you're gonna attack somebody like when you can obviously see like she was like ready to give birth.
Yeah, like very pregnant.
Very. The next attack after Miss Ed Schneider happened only 5 days later on August 10th, 1918, when 80-year-old Joseph Romano was found by his nieces Pauline and Mary after they heard him struggling. His head was bashed in, yet he would survive for 2 whole days before dying.
His head was bashed in?
Yeah, and he survived for 2 days. His nieces said that they supposedly saw the attacker, and they described him as a dark, tall, heavy-set, wearing a dark suit and a black slouch hat.
Okay.
I don't even know what a slouch hat is. And dark, do they mean black or like
evil? Yeah, I don't know what they mean by that.
Yeah. Or like...
Or was he just in dark clothes?
Yeah, or was it dark outside and you couldn't really see? Like, what?
Yeah, like, what do you mean?
Because I feel like they would have said mulatto or African American if they meant black or just black.
Yeah.
They said dark. Like, I don't know.
It's weird.
I was confused by that, but I also read that Pauline and Mary ran a small grocery store from their home, so they were like also grocers. So after this attack, the police are on high alert, and families are obviously also on high alert in their house. And the Axeman must have picked up on this because he backs off for a little while.
Yeah, he probably found out, heard it, hearsay, like...
Yeah, I think the newspapers were publishing stuff about it. So he caught wind of this, and he did not attack anyone else until March 8th, 1919. So, new year, new crimes.
Let's see what these are.
7 months from the last attack, Rose... This one's kind of heavy, too, because it also involves a kid, but... 7 months from the last attack, Rose Cortimiglia awoke to her husband Charles fighting the motherfucking Axeman.
Oh, shit.
but to no avail. Charles, Rose, and their 2-year-old daughter Mary were all attacked. Charles and Rose survived the attack, but Mary sadly died.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
The family was found by their neighbors, the Giordano's. Again, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I can't pronounce names. But they were found by the Giordano's, who were also grocers, thus their competitors. And according to an article in Country Roads magazine, the two families...
Country Road.
I knew you were going to do that.
Take me home. Our country is showing.
Yes. According to an article in Country Roads magazine, the two families used to be friends, and the Giordano's actually had the grocery store first. L'Orlando Giordano, probably butchering that. He was the owner originally of the grocery store, and he was getting on in years, and his teenaged son Frank didn't want to take over the family business, so L'Orlando decided to lease the building to the Cortamiglias, and they were all friends for a while. Well, then I guess Frank decided, okay, I do want to run the business, so L'Orlando was like, hey, we need our building back. And the Cortamiglias like really were like, that's messed up, you leased it to us. But so they reluctantly gave it back. They didn't want to close their business and have to move elsewhere, but they did it. They gave the business back, but then instead of going somewhere else to open their business, they decided to open it like right across the street. They opened a new grocery store right across the street. Yeah, on the same corner. And so obviously that caused a rift in their relationship, and now they're like competitors and
almost enemies in the grocery store world.
Since the Giordano's and the Cortamiglias had beef, when the attack happened, the police just assumed it had to be their competitors. And I read somewhere, but I didn't find it on multiple sources. I just found it on one source. I'm not entirely sure if it happened or not, but according to that one source, the Giordano's were the ones that actually found the couple after the attack, and they are the ones that called and got help. Since they were once good friends, even though they had a falling out, I don't think that they would have like attacked them and then called the police and been like, hey, you know,
hey, we found our friends attacked. We didn't do it.
Yeah, I think they would have just let someone else find them. Plus, I don't think that they would have killed Mary, because reportedly they loved Mary. Like, I think if they had beef with them, they would have at least like not touched the child. So I really don't feel like it was them. Yeah,
let her live.
Yeah,
I feel like it was someone that didn't know the family to kill the kid.
Yeah, it'd have to be
psychopath.
At the hospital, Rose denied having seen her attacker, but after she recovered and was able to leave the hospital, she was escorted by police not to her home, but to the Jefferson Parish jail. They reportedly...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Like, that's the last place I'd want to go. So, the police reportedly told Rose that she needed to confess to who attacked her and was left there in jail overnight. They wanted her to say that the Giordano's did it. I think they took her over Charles because they thought it would be she would be an easier target to break, so they could get a confession.
To attack? Yeah, they could try to push her to say whatever they needed her to say.
Yeah, so they could get a confession.
Scare her into confession. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And, fuck the police.
And it's so messed up because she was just severely attacked. Her daughter's dead, and then you're putting her through this police corrosion
in jail because you want her to confess to someone doing it that didn't do it, just so you guys have someone. And they wanted her to do the work without actually doing the work.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Because she was coerced, she ended up signing a confession stating that the Giordano's were the ones who attacked her and her family. Her husband...
they broke her.
They did. And her husband, Charles, denied these claims, but despite his denial, L'Orlando and Frank were arrested and thrown in jail. Eventually, L'Orlando was sentenced to life in prison, and Frank was sentenced to the death penalty by hanging.
For something he didn't even do!
Yeah. So, I guess because L'Orlando was a lot older at the time, they felt like it was mostly Frank who did the attack.
Wow.
which is why they received very different sentences.
Yeah, I'm like, that's crazy. One's hanging and one's just in jail.
Yeah.
Not fair.
The father and son remained in jail, wrongly convicted for over a year. During this time, Charles decides to divorce Rose, probably because she just flat out lied. In February of 1920, Rose could not take the guilt anymore, so she walked into the Times-Picayune office, which was a local newspaper there, and confessed that she wrongly accused the Giordano's. They published this statement.
A little more than a week ago, Miss Cordemelia. I can't say names. A little more than a week ago, Miss Cordemelia. How do you say that again?
I don't know. I guess it's Cordomiglia. That's what I was saying.
A little more than a week ago, Miss Cordomiglia came to the offices of the Times-Picayune. And in the presence of several members of the staff voluntarily confessed that she had falsely identified the convicted men at the trial. She declared that she was mentally unbalanced at the time of the trial and wished to withdraw her testimony against the Giordano's. Because, yeah, she was unbalanced. Bitch was fucking getting terrorized. Her mental was off the charts.
Yeah. Days after the Cordomiglias were attacked, the same New Orleans newspaper received a letter supposedly from the Axeman. This is a long letter, but we're going to read it.
Yeah, we're going to read this letter to y'all so y'all can hear the Axeman through us.
Titled, Hell, March 13th, 1919. Esteemed mortal. They have never caught me, and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible, even as the ether surrounding the earth. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman.
When I see fit, I shall come and claim other victims. I alone know whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with blood and brains of whom I have sent below to keep me company. If you wish, you may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as to not only amuse me, but His Satanic Majesty, Francis, Joseph, etc. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am, for it was better that they were never born than to incur the wrath of the Axeman. I don't think there is any need for such a warning, for I feel sure the police will always dodge me as they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm.
Undoubtedly, you Orleanians think of me as a most horrible murderer, which I am, but I could be much worse if I wanted to. If I wished, I could pay a visit to your city every night. At will, I could slay thousands of your best citizens, for I am in a close relationship with the angel of death. Now, to be exact, at 12:15 earthly time on next Tuesday night, March 19th, 1919, I'm going to pass over New Orleans in my infinite mercy. I'm going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is.
I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well, then, so much the better for you people. One thing is certain, and that is that some of your people who do not jazz it on Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe.
Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartarus, and it is about time I leave your earthly home, I will cease my discourse, hoping that thou wilt publish this. This it may go well with thee. I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed, either in fact or realm of fancy. The Axeman.
What a fucking weirdo. He thinks he's of a different dimension. He's telling people like to put blood on the doors of their homes, but instead of blood, it's jazz music.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Next thing he's gonna be like, if you don't leave boudin balls out for me, I'll axe you.
What's a boudin ball?
I don't know, it looks delicious. It's like meat and stuff, and they roll it and they fry it and you dip it in a sauce.
Oh, that does sound delicious.
Looks amazing.
I'm gonna
You
have
should
to
Google it
it.
sometime. It's like Boudin, I think. Boudin or Boudin. I don't know.
I'll look it
I'm
up.
butchering it.
We butcher words. That's what we do on this podcast.
But at least we know we do.
Words, names, everything.
All of it.
On March 19th, 1919, the city was alive with jazz. People blasted it in their homes, and some even spent the night hanging out in local jazz clubs.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, if the whole city
to just be like chilling and you just hear jazz everywhere. Like, I love music, so that would be awesome.
It would be.
I would go out on my balcony and just listen to all the jazz while I'm playing jazz, and then I would be sipping my, like, drink, smoking,
chilling.
Living it up, knowing that the Axeman ain't gonna axe me.
Yeah. And it worked. No one was killed that night.
What if he did that for jokes? What if he was like, I'm gonna say this, and if everyone does it, ha 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 ha.
Well, we're gonna get into a historian's theory about that next. So, it is speculated by many historians and criminal profilers that the letter that was sent to the New Orleans newspaper was not actually written by the Axeman.
Oh, it's a fraud.
So, historian Miriam Davis, which her name, there's a old Hollywood actress that I love called Marion Davies. And when I think of Marion Davies,
close to that.
It makes me think of Marion Davies. Anyways, Miriam Davis, author of The Axeman of New Orleans, The True Story, brings up that the writer of this particular letter and the profile of the Axeman do not match up. She stated that when you read the letter, this is a person who is educated. He is a classical allusion to Tartarus, a place of torment in Greek mythology. It reads like it was written by a fraternity or something. And the person who is the Axeman, from the description we've got of him, is a working man. He's working class, and I just don't think a working class person at the time would have been educated enough to write that letter.
Wow, so she's saying whoever wrote it's smarter than the Axeman.
Yeah.
But he's getting away with murder, so I don't know about that, Miriam.
Well, it was also 1919. You could pretty much get away with anything.
Oh, scary times. I'm glad we don't live in those.
I know. So if the Axeman didn't write this letter, then who the hell did? Well, Miriam Davis also has a theory about that. She thinks a man named Joseph John Davila was the writer. Davila was a jazz musician in New Orleans who reportedly came up with the song "The Axeman's Jazz Don't Scare Me, Papa" during the early.
Wow.
Love the name. During the early hours.
Get rich or die trying.
During the early hours of March 19th, 1919, the night everyone was playing jazz. Davila then ran. I think I said this guy's name like 3 different ways. Davila.
Yeah, y'all just figure it out.
Davila then ran a newspaper advertisement in anticipation of the release of this new song, The Axeman's Jazz. So is it possible that maybe that guy wrote the letter?
He wrote the letter
to set everything up to promote his new song. No one died the night of the... But no one died that night, and if I was the Axeman and I didn't write that letter and I saw it, I probably would have killed someone just to be like, I didn't write the letter.
Play your jazz. I'm still gonna axe you.
Yeah, like, fuck you, imposter. No, but it's an interesting theory, because wouldn't that be something? Like, he probably already wrote the jazz, the Axeman's Jazz, and then he set that up because he knew the murders were happening and the city was scared of the Axeman, so he's like, I'm gonna profit off this. Yeah.
Make money off of some people getting murdered. How shitty are you? You're gonna chill with the Axeman in hell. Just like your letter said.
Yeah.
Sorry.
After the jazz-filled night in March, all was well for a short time. But on August 10th, 1919, an Italian grocer named Steve Bocca woke up to find a man next to his bed with an axe, and he was severely injured. He survived.
Alright, at this point in time, if I'm a grocer, I'm gonna move up from an axe to a, like, gun.
Oh, well.
Did they have guns in 1919?
It's interesting that you say that because someone does have a gun later on.
Okay.
So
sorry, I'm just jumping the gun.
no pun intended. So Steve Bocca survives the attack and manages to make it over to a neighbor's house before collapsing. Steve unfortunately could not remember details about the attack, but like others, no valuables were stolen and a piece of his back door was cut out.
Okay, I'm getting angry. Why does this man keep cutting the fucking back door out?
I read somewhere like you could cut out a panel and then like
like pop the door open or something.
Yeah, like open it, like to reach in and unlock the door so you could get in. And maybe if he was small enough, maybe he could crawl through the hole. I don't know how big the hole was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you think that would wake people up, like cutting a whole damn hole in the door?
Yeah, that's loud.
Also,
there's no way you can be quiet about that.
You use the axe to get
just
on the door.
Yeah, like fuck, just The Shining it.
Yeah.
Here's Johnny. Red rum.
Then on September 2nd, a man named William Carson narrowly escaped what is believed to have been the Axeman when he fired several shots at an intruder in his home. The intruder took off,
bang,
leaving
bang,
an axe behind,
bang.
And there was a hole in his door. So he was almost a victim, but he had a gun.
That's why I got my 9.
The next day, 19-year-old Sarah Lawman
Lawman.
I don't even know. Just overlook it. The 19-year-old named Sarah. Her name was Sarah, and she was attacked by someone who entered through an open window.
Okay, if there's a serial killer, I'm not leaving my window open.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, what? I mean, I know they probably didn't have air conditions, and maybe it was hot or something, but she also lived alone.
Uh-oh. Pay attention, girl. You have to be extra careful when you're alone.
Yeah. She was found by her neighbors still alive and went on to survive the attack. When she regained consciousness, she did not remember what had happened, but a bloody axe was found on her front lawn.
Of course it was.
Then, on October 27th, 1919, the alleged last Axeman attack would happen at an Italian grocer, Mike Pepitone, and his wife, Esther's home.
They're just trying to sell groceries and make money. Why? Oh.
Yep. Esther was home in another part of the house when around 1 a.m. she heard her husband screaming from their bedroom. She ran to the bedroom to see what was happening, and depending on your sources, she saw not one, but 2 men fleeing the bedroom.
2?
Yeah. So all these other people had reported one, if they saw anything at all, it was one person. But she reportedly saw 2. One of them had an axe. She couldn't make them out and was not able to identify them.
Unless that one time he was like, hey, homie, I need you to help me out real quick.
Yeah.
I'm like kind of injured. I'm limping. So can you come with me to make sure we don't get caught? I can see that happening.
Yeah. Like, hey, you guys, you want to murder with me?
Like, I could see him being like solo dolo for all of them until this one.
Yeah.
I could see it being a possibility.
Well, this one gets kind of complicated. So she couldn't make them out and was not able to identify them. Her husband, Mike, was struck in the head reportedly 18 times, and he died a couple hours later.
That's sad, dude.
Yeah. This crime seemed a little different from the others because, like I said, there was 2 men.
So do you think someone's like mocking him?
Maybe.
They're like, oh, Axemen? Let's try to be the Axemen, but we're 2.
There's several theories.
Like, people just angry at other people, and they're like, we can murder them and get away with it.
Yeah, we're like, hey, there's an Axeman going around. Let's just set this murder up. I mean, honestly, it would be the perfect crime. You could set up a murder if there was someone you wanted to get rid of and just blame it on the Axeman.
Leave the axe.
Because there's no fingerprinting
And the police are like, oh, the axe is there, it has to be connected to the others.
Yeah, they're not testing it for fingerprints. There's no cameras. Like, you're not going to get caught.
Exactly.
But really, that is one theory with all of these, that maybe not all of the murders were committed by the Axeman. Specifically, there were some other theories going around that there was also potentially mafia stuff involved. Like, it was the mafia, like a mafia
because it's all
hit.
Italian grocers.
Yeah, Esther, poor Esther, she wasn't attacked. She's fine. But her husband's dead, and she also had 6 children.
Shit, single mom of 6?
Yeah. So
back in those times? Oh my God.
Right. So she had 6 kids to feed, and so obviously she moves on pretty quickly after Mike's death, and she soon remarried a man named Angelo Albano. So this is where things get a little weird.
Okay.
So basically, Esther and Angelo, they get married and they move from New Orleans to Los Angeles, California.
New Orleans.
Sometimes I say it like that, and sometimes it's like normal.
I'm trying to catch it every time and be like, New Orleans.
New Orleans. Esther and Angelo get married and move to Los Angeles, California for a fresh start with a new man. Before they got married, Angelo apparently had ended his business dealings with a man named Joseph Mumphrey. Not sure what kind of business dealings this was, but whatever it was, it ended. So exactly 2 years after Mike, her first husband, Mike Peptone, was murdered, Esther's new husband, Angelo, goes missing.
What the fuck? Why is he missing?
Just freaking gone. I don't know. Never to be heard from again. So Esther said that on December 5th, 1921, Joseph Mumphrey paid her a visit at her home. He came into her home and demanded that she give him $500 and all of her jewelry.
Yeah, okay.
And he said that she better do it.
Or what?
Or he would kill her like he killed her husband.
Oh, hell no, I'm about to kill you on spot.
Well, Esther decides to walk into her bedroom under the guise of getting the jewelry, but she came back with a revolver.
So cowgirl style. Let's go.
And she shot his ass 11 times, killing him.
You a bad bitch, Esther.
Yeah. Now, allegedly, Esther recognized Joseph Mumphrey when she saw him as one of the men who were there the night the Axeman attacked her first husband, Mike.
Go off, Esther. Go off.
So Esther, she was like arrested because she just shot this guy 11 times.
She killed
obviously.
a man. Yeah.
But
she emptied her round on this motherfucker.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
1 in the chamber, 10 in the whatever revolver chamber.
And if she actually shot him 11 times,
automatic.
She must have pretty good aim, like to hit him. But anyway, that was probably point blank.
Oh, dude. Yeah, she was probably close as fuck.
Yeah.
He probably was about to get her, and she was like, pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
That's quick, though, because with the revolvers, don't you have to pull it back and then shoot, pull it back, then so it, moves?
I don't know. Probably back then, yeah.
Yeah, it's not automatic back then.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Well, I don't know, because, the mob had, Tommy guns and stuff.
I'm surprised she wasn't, shoving gunpowder down in and...
Stuffing powder? There's a little more advanced time than that.
And had a bidet at the end. Wait, it's not a bidet. What's that called?
A bayonet.
When the knife's at the end.
A bayonet.
Yes, I said bidet. God damn it, that's what cleans your booty hole. I need to go get ice. Intermission. I'll be back. Oh my god.
What?
I went and told my parents the story of what just happened, and I was like, you shoving gunpowder down in there with a bidet at the end. And they're like, my mom goes, you mean a bandana?
Shut up, so she got it wrong too?
And Tim's like, oh no. Tim's like, you mean a whatever you said.
Bayonet. A bayonet.
Bayonet. I was
Oh,
close, damn it.
So, daughter thought a bidet, and mother thought bandana.
I was like, I have to go tell Nina your dumbass just said bandana. What
You
the
get it
fuck
honest.
is that?
That's hilarious.
Welcome to our life. But Tim got a kick out of that. Oh my god. Because I was like, we're talking about 1919 and this bitch had a revolver. And I'm like, I'm surprised she didn't have a fucking thing with gunpowder with a bidet at the end. And he's like, a bidet? What the fuck? Yeah, she gotta clean her ass after she shoots you. She shit her pants, man. I have to take a breather. Yeah, I'm like, I know that's not what you meant. I mean, I didn't mean bidet, but I was a little closer than bandana. What's it called again? A baguette?
A bayonet.
Bayonet.
A baguette.
Whoa!
Oh gosh. Getting back to where we were. Okay. So obviously Esther was arrested for killing this guy. And she has to go to trial, but she was eventually acquitted of killing Mumfrey and went on to live her life and take care of her children and her stepchildren. And it was later found out that although Esther killed Joseph in California, Mumfrey was from New Orleans. He was part of a blackmailing operation there, and his blackmailing ring seemed to also focus on Italians. And right after Mike Peptone was murdered, Mumfrey left New Orleans for the West Coast, and the Axeman attacks coincidentally stopped.
All right, a little sus.
Yeah. So another weird coincidence is that before the Axeman killings even started, there were another series of killings that started years earlier, maybe even as early as 1910. And there was another killer dubbed the Cleaver. Not the Axeman, the Cleaver. Because he killed people with like a meat cleaver.
Which is worse, do you think? I think the cleaver would be worse than the axe. At least the axe, one blow and you're probably done. But the cleaver...
If you hit me with the sharp end of the axe, because it would probably be quicker.
Oh, not like...
But you could still blunt in.
Is it called brunt or brute force?
I say brunt.
Blunt force?
Or blunt force, yeah.
I don't know.
The brunt of the axe or something, and then blunt force trauma to the head. Like, because you could still just turn the axe around and it'd be like the meat cleaver. The Cleaver's killings started with an attack on a couple who owned a grocery store. Harriet and August, I'm just going to say Harriet and August, because I don't know how to say their last name. Harriet awoke to a man with a meat cleaver in their bedroom. He threatened to hurt her like he did her husband if she did not give him all her money. He fled the scene after getting away with $8 whole and a pet mockingbird. He stole their motherfucking bird.
Don't steal nobody's bird.
August ended up surviving the attack, and Harriet was not attacked. But police did find a pane of glass was carefully removed from their back door. He stole stuff this time. He stole a bird and $8, which isn't normal for the Axeman. But if this was early on in his career, maybe he was experimenting and trying to figure out his MO, and maybe he needed the money at the time and didn't need it later or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, a month later, Conchetta and Joseph
Rossetto
had a similar incident occur in their home when a man with an axe attacked them in their bedroom. Beaten and bloody, they survived the attack, and the killer fled, this time not stealing anything. He had entered through an open window.
Oh, come on, guys. Stop leaving your fucking windows open.
Then, newlyweds, right? I kid you not, it said their names were Mary and Joseph Davy. Or Davy. Yeah, Mary and Joseph. I was like, what? They were attacked by the Cleaver, supposedly, and Mary was also pregnant. Mary woke up and there was a man in their bedroom holding a weapon that was never found. He threatened to beat her like he had her husband if she didn't hand over all their money. He eventually knocked Mary out and left without taking anything. So now the weird part is that Mumphrey, right? Joseph Mumphrey was reportedly imprisoned during the time between the Cleaver killings and the Axeman killings.
Damn.
So it's possible that if he was the Axeman, that's why the killings stopped, because it's like the Cleaver killings happened, Joseph got arrested, they stopped for a while, he gets out of jail,
Then
and
the
then the Axeman
Axeman starts.
comes to New Orleans.
So he just went from cleaver to axe.
Yeah, he just upgraded his weapon. Because the killings seem very similar. So not sure if they're connected, but it seems possible. And it's also interesting that the fact that when the Cleaver killing stopped, he was in jail, then the Axeman killings started, and then when he moved to Los Angeles, the Axeman disappeared.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. One last murder to mention. So in December of 1917, a year before the Axeman murders began, like just right before, because it was at the end of the year, Sicilian grocer Epifanio. These words
I think you said that right.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Epifanio and Anna
Andolina
woke to a man in their bedroom with a hatchet and a gun.
Oh shit, and a gun?
Yeah. He severely beat Epifanio, and he also hurt their 2 young sons as he was leaving the home. But as far as I know, they were all okay. But Epifanio, even though he survived the initial attack, he died 10 months later from the Spanish flu.
That sucks.
And it's possible that his system was weakened because of the attack.
Him trying to heal his energies. Wow.
Injury. He needs some healing energy. The attacker had reportedly cut out a panel from the door to their home to get in. Yeah. So they're very
That's a common
cases.
thing.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if this was the Axeman, if the Cleaver murders was the Axeman. But it seems like it could be all connected. Then there's the copycat theories, the mafia theories, the blackmail theories.
So there's many multiple theories.
So many theories as to who this was.
So you just have to take this and decide what you will.
Yeah, it seems like it's plausible that all these were connected, and that it was also plausible it was Joseph Mumphrey, just with the way the attacks line up with his arrest and then his death. So it's interesting. But yeah, that's the Axeman of New Orleans. If you also are familiar with American Horror Story, he was in, I believe it was the Coven season when they I don't even remember, all my seasons run together. But the interesting thing about that is like it's kind of almost like he is a spirit or something, the way they depict it, because
like an evil spirit.
Not necessarily. It's just from what I remember, it's been a while since I've seen it. The way they depict it is almost like he's something else, because this happened in like the 1900s, but that season is set in like now time, like more of the present day. So how would he still be alive?
But if you're from New Orleans and you've heard this story, please let us know your opinions and your thoughts. That would be interesting to read. But alright, that's the Axeman of New Orleans. But yeah, what's next week?
Next week we are going to be talking about crimes that have to do with fast food. So it's going to be a fun one.
I know a lot of us eat fast food.
Yeah.
So
I'm really looking forward to that.
This will be fun. It's sad, but fun.
Yeah.
People died, but like, it's a cool way to like share it.
Yeah. People died, but it's going to be fun.
I mean, in all of our episodes, people die, so I don't know. We still have fun about it.
I'm really excited about next week. I think it's going to be a fun episode.
Me too. We did them thing. You should too.
We did it. Stay tuned and stay spooky.
Stay spooky!